I do have a habit of filming more on the long range side, and I recognize that not everybody is going to be shooting real far, and sometimes it's just useful to have some point blank distance kind of stuff with cheaper ammo even. And so what I did here is I have the cheapest ammo that I've ever gotten for .308. It's actually 7.62 51 ammo. I'll leave the brand out, I guess, but it's just, kind of trash. It is brass, but it doesn't shoot good in anything ever. But I still think it will land successive hits on a target at 330 yards, especially, we'll call it a silhouette man-sized target. I don't think it'll be an issue. So I'll go ahead and set up my spotter. I'm just going to use an 8X pair of binos for this, and I'll spot that steel. It'll probably knock my target light indicator off like it always does right away. There's just plenty of power behind that round. Even 149 grain bullet at these speeds, it can really push a target around this 3/8 inch steel. It moves, so you should be able to see those impacts even after I knock off my light here in a second. Here we go. Hopefully you can hear those okay. Definitely makes successive hits. Not too terribly difficult. I'm going to drop my bipod down a little bit. It's just too tall. Yeah, I like this combination. That thing really hammers. It definitely hits hard. It hits really hard. And having that in a semi-auto platform is amazing. I'll throw a few more down here. I'll probably finish off this box just because I'm really enjoying shooting those targets. That's really enjoyable. I like that a lot. All right, let's do a brief overview of what I've done to the rifle. Now the rifle is going to come with more of like the A2 style gear. So you're going to have your regular AR grip, your regular AR stock, a mil-spec trigger. Mine did not ship with a magazine. And of course, it's not going to come with some of the added Picatinny. I added one underneath. It has M-lock, a little Picatinny on top that is integral, okay? But then I've added some so that I could throw on a light and my Atlas bipod. And then on the stock, which I've added a stock here, it's a Luth AR stock. I've added the B&T Industries monopod on the back just for fun. I got it for free, so I just thought I'd try it out. I don't think I really would use a monopod too often, but I suppose this being a DMR type setup, it's probably the thing that makes the most sense to put it on because I'm not going to put it on a bolt gun more than likely. And then of course I added a right-on one-piece cantilever QD mount. This is a 30 mil, and I have the Falcon 1-10 on top. If you never watched my Falcon 1-10 review, go ahead and watch that. It's been a very reliable optic from me. It's not a $2,000 piece of glass, but it's been reliable. It's handled the AR-10 well, and I'm going to tell you the optic I had on here before didn't last 10 rounds, unfortunately. Probably had some pre-existing condition, something that happened, but I had thrown an optic on here, a big 34 millimeter tubed optic from a big company, and it failed. It actually broke the eyepiece. So plenty of recoil with AR-10s in general. That optic probably had something going on, but this Falcon has done flawless, no issues whatsoever. And I do have enough holdover in there to take it to 1,000 yards with just holdover, not even worrying about dialing. You can kind of do both. Anyways, just a few additions to the rifle, but otherwise it's really basically the same rifle underneath. It's the same barrel. It's the same, I put that pistol grip on there, by the way. It's the same barrel, it's the same trigger, and it's the same rail, obviously. So the rifle is essentially going to be very similar. I might update the trigger in the future and get something that's a little more my style, But so far, I thought it would be best to review it with just the stock mil-spec trigger, and I went back and checked, and when I did zero it, I was getting some 1-inch groups. I thought they were about 1.25 inches, but they're about 1 inch right on the dot. And so that's great, real happy with that. Match ammo is a little bit tighter, and the bulk box 7.62 ammo, it's, yeah, between 1.5 to 2 inches is the neighborhood I'm seeing, with really bad stuff, the really cheap stuff, being somewhere around 3 inches. That's ammo related, not the rifle's fault, but I'm excited to take this a little further. I'm got a clay pigeon at the top of 15. I don't know where this hits at all at 627. Well, I have a general idea, so we'll just see if my data lines up. It's pretty close. Send one more at the clay. I think I got it. I either bounced it or I got it. It's not too bad with, you know, military ammo, nothing special. Put one on the steel. That is empty. That's pretty fun. A bit better ammo. The Center Strike from Federal, 175 grain. All right, just one quick thing. The Center Strike from Federal, the 175 grain, is no replacement for the SM case. I know that to be true for multiple reasons. I'm just telling you, in my results, it's considerably not as accurate, not as consistent. I'll say that. It's not as consistent of a bullet. I don't think it flies quite as well, but it's still decent. And this rifle shot okay with it. It shot about 1 MOA at 100 yards, 5-shot group. So I'll go ahead and see what this does at 627. I didn't see where that one went. I'm in a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to throw some at the clay. So I'll have to see in the footage, but it looked like I hit the clay. So I don't know why I would have missed. I feel pretty comfortable with my trigger pull. Lots to work to do with AR platforms in general for me. I need to increase and grow in that, but I think it was sufficient to hit that steel. So I'm going to try it again and just see if I randomly missed, or maybe I hit it and didn't realize it. The scope cam footage from the spotter should definitely see it. Impact. I'm definitely close, favoring a little left or right. It'd be kind of nice to put a wind flag out. It's just slightly windy down there. It's between 6 and 10. I'm seeing up here 3 to 5. It's not bad at all. The 308 should be just fine with that. I want to throw a few more. I don't think the optic is limiting me, nor the ammo, nor the rifle. I think I need to get better with it and be more consistent. Because with my bolt gun, these would be all hits, but I'd be using more mitigation. That's true. I think it's just me needing more practice, but I'm having a really good time with this. This is awesome. Really great rifle. All right, guys, I'm going to shoot just a handful off the tank trap here. I'd like to extend this about there. And I've got some big targets down there, some smaller ones too. I can still definitely miss, but mostly doing a function test and trying out the rifle just to see how it feels, recoil impulse, all the normal things, and also reliability for that ammo, because I'm not 100% sure on M80. It probably runs fine, but we'll just find out. Definitely missing on the 4-inch target, and I'm not sure where I was hitting on that. Ammo's fine, rifle's probably fine. It's mostly me and my fundamentals. I'm going to practice that a little more, and I will start hitting that 4-incher, but I'm glad to see reliability so far. First 200 rounds or so is doing just fine. I hate to say it because it's a pun, but I am having a blast with this rifle. Just learning how to shoot this platform and hopefully shoot well. This has just been really fun. I like this little setup quite a bit. Shoot some targets here, hopefully make some impacts. Sort of supported at 219. Another impact. Uh-oh. Another impact and failure to extract. That was a user failure to load. Here's another impact. All right, not super consistent ammo. We already knew that, but I wanted to try it anyways. Yeah, it's getting real windy again. In the lighter wind, I don't mind playing with that, but it's just been a full week of trying to fight 20 and 30 mile an hour wind and crazy gusts. That's just a lot for me, but you know what? We're still connecting, still making impacts, even in the wind. Falcon is doing great on top of this. This rifle is doing phenomenal. Only a couple hang-ups so far, and that very well could be ammo related, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was. So I'm fairly aware at the inadequacy of this ammo that I'm shooting, but it's what I have. It's affordable. It's some Freedom Reman, and they're not terrible at 600. I don't think they fly the best out of this rifle, this barrel at 1,000. Even in my bolt guns, I don't think they do the best, but they're what I have. So I'm going to shoot some. I know my hit ratio isn't going to be amazing, if at all, but I'm going to try it. We're going to see what kind of accuracy I can get out of these before I go to the more expensive stuff. I kind of wanted to get some data for this anyways and just see how they perform. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there will be a few hits in there or it'll be consistent. I am using a 1 to 10, so it's easily enough magnification. The one downside is that I don't have an adjustable parallax, but that has not killed me in the past. Even with 223 gas guns, I've been able to achieve hits really far with my BCA 300 Blackout. I've now taken that out to 1,000 with an LPVO a couple times. Pretty regularly at 800, I can go 5 for 5 with good ammo. At 830 rather. 900, it does start to fall apart. 1,000 is pretty hard, but hits are achievable with my BCA 300 Blackout. Now, 300 Blackout is not a super high performing round. It's not meant for these kind of distances for sure. 308 arguably can go further, can do better. It just depends, I guess, in your experience, your hand loading and that kind of thing. I feel like this is a pretty capable system. I feel like the rifle is going to do just fine. Hitting silhouette-sized targets, I think I can do it. Maybe not on repeat with this ammo. Perhaps with the other ones. But we'll just have to find out what happens with a 10X. Of course, I'm on 10, and I'm going to dial 12.5 is going to be my data. I think I'm right in there about 12.5. That's typically what it is with a bolt gun. We'll see what it is with this gas gun platform. So check this out. If you look closely, you'll see something that shouldn't be. Let me zoom in a little bit. So if you're observant, you're noticing right away some skid marks up here. I was wondering to myself about the performance of those rounds, because when I switched to the Federal, the gold medal usually does pretty well, even in a very average barrel, and I could not figure out why that was scattering as badly as it was. It could be that a little bit of data changed with that shift. It wouldn't be so much that, you know, the scope isn't canted, the reticle isn't canted. It mostly just shifted back under recoil, which isn't super uncommon with the AR-10s from what I hear, but I should know better than to not have these properly torqued down to a spec that would retain it. So a learning experience for me there. If you do get an AR-10 like this, make sure that you're actually torquing those down, because there's a significant amount of recoil. It doesn't feel that way because the bolt carrier absorbs so much of it. That's the way that I think of it anyways. But I did realize that I need to tighten that up and then retry for some groups here, and I'll probably be getting some impacts now that I can correct this problem. All right, thanks to that Zero Tech back there, you were able to see my misses, which were many. I had many, many misses. I think with the 1-10, the ammo combination, this rifle, I think that's asking a little bit much. I was dancing around that clay and making some corrections just due to minor wind, very minor wind today, 7-10. And so I think I was asking too much of that combination. It wasn't terribly consistent, whether that be the ammo, the rifle, optic combination, I don't know. I'm not really gonna blame anything other than the guy behind the trigger. That brings up the trigger. You know, would it do a little better with a little better trigger? Probably. I probably wouldn't throw quite as many shots. I could probably anticipate the actual break a little better with a little better trigger, but that's not really the point. For me, the point of a rifle like this, an AR-10 that's under $600, that gets me to 1,000, and I can at least reliably hit, you know, the big silhouette. I can hit an IDPA size target at a little past 1,000 right now. That's not too bad, $600, and it's a versatile rifle. It's not just a bolt gun. A bolt gun, you know, is great. I love bolt guns, have lots of bolt guns on the channel, but with an AR-10 platform, I can do so many things with this, such as run it down on this LPVO from Falcon all the way down to 1 power. And on 1 power, it's versatile for close range. It's the second focal plane this one happens to be, so it's, you know, probably versatile for hunting and most of the applications that I have. I could see this being just fine. If you want a coyote gun, a hog gun that can also stretch out and plink, you want to shoot at some clay pigeons and have fun, maybe you'll do a little better than I would. I think you could do well with a rifle like this. And the way I've set it up here is so affordable. This really brings everyone into the AR-10 platform, and it's fairly reliable. Not too many hang-ups, but I did have a few. That question I have in the back of my mind is, was it recoil related? As in, was I managing recoil properly, or did I throw off some timing a little bit and change some reliability? I feel like there's enough power there. I feel like the buffer is proper. Gas assembly seems, you know, it seems like it's where it's supposed to be. It didn't back out on me. I don't have anything touching the barrel underneath. So I've kind of thought through it a little bit about harmonically what's going on and recoil wise, and it's possible that I did not absorb the recoil very consistently, threw off the timing on a few of those casings. Not to mention that on some of the 149 grain stuff I was shooting, I actually picked up the shells and realized that they were really crappy. They're super low quality, they're rough on the outsides. You want an AR-10 to run all that stuff, I get it, but it might have been asking a little bit much the way that I was dumping rounds and getting it real dirty and then shooting some really poor quality ammo on top of that. So who knows? I'm not going to make too much apology for 1 or 2 hang-ups. It is what it is. And I think at $600, I kind of expected maybe a couple hang-ups. Maybe it couldn't shoot every ammo or every condition perfectly, but it's a multi-purpose rifle. And I think it's the modern sportsman's rifle, and I like it a lot. You can go ahead and check them out using a link down below. They've got some awesome sales going on right now. Like I said, an AR-10 and many others for under $600. So thus ends part 1 of the BCA 10 308 rifle. I'm happy with it. Thank you to Longshot Target Camera Systems, or Longshot Target Cameras. I think that's the actual title. They provided this out to the channel, and it has been a lifesaver. I've needed this every time I go out. I highly suggest you check these out. They're very worthwhile. In fact, they have a newer version than this one. That's what I'm going to do with part 1, though. What you saw there. And I'm pretty content with it. I'm pretty happy with the rifle. Like I said, under $600, what else can you get that's a 308 auto that is, you know, pretty reliable and fairly accurate? I just don't know what else is out there that you could even compete with that with. I think it's probably the best deal, the hottest deal in the market. But for part 2, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade out that trigger. I'm such a trigger snob at this point in my life, and I do think I could tighten up those groups significantly by dropping the weight on the trigger. The trigger was reliable, you know, it's a mil-spec trigger and there's a lot of value in that, but I want to try a different trigger. And so for part 2, that's what I'm going to do. Would you drop a comment down below if you have a recommendation for a trigger, an AR-10 trigger, that is very reliable, lighter, and that you have some experience with? I want to look at that.